Certain truths that most men will never tell you. We'll be right back after this. Hello and welcome back. Okie dokie, so today we're talking about some truths that men will never tell you. It's not because they are mean, horrible humans. Well, in this case, it's just really going to be because they're low value, low character, but men don't really enjoy hurting women's feelings. If you find a man that enjoys hurting a woman's feelings, he is definitely very much situated in his feminine energy. And because a dear friend of mine said, it takes a woman to fight another woman. Really, a man does not want to fight a woman, hurt a woman, or cause a woman to cry, especially if it's a masculine man. I said masculine, I didn't say high value. High value men too find it very difficult to be honest about their truest intentions and their feelings. Because guess what? The truth comes at a cost. When we tell the truth, we also are putting ourselves up to lose something that we may want in the short term or maybe further up the road. And so many of us have been punished for telling the truth. And so we've learned that it's not always a safe thing to tell the truth. And we say men lie a lot. Well, I don't think it's a man problem. I genuinely think it's a human problem. It just hurts when you are involved with somebody romantically. But let's look at some of the common things that a man won't want to tell you. Number one, he won't want to tell you that he has lost attraction for you. A man is not going to want to tell you, hey girl, you know what, when I saw your picture online, I thought you were hot. But now that I've met you, I think you're a little bit boring. I think you're a little bit, you're not my type. Or I'll shag you, but I'm really not that interested in you. Yes, a man is never going to open his mouth and tell you he is no longer attracted to you. It's up to you to really, and I've had some of you girls say, you know, I text him saying, was I not what you were looking for? Do you not find me attractive enough? Honey, this is low value. Men vote with their actions. They speak with their actions. I don't actually think men lie. I think they tell the truth. If you're listening to the right thing. Listen to his actions. You can't really listen to somebody's actions, but watch his actions and they will tell you everything you need to know about the truth about him. Men cannot lie in their actions. They can lie in their words, but their actions always betray them. They just fall into a pattern because they are doing energy, and doing energy has to be compelled or propelled by another energy to do. So in the absence of attraction, a man will simply pull away. Anytime you feel a man pulling away, it's often because his attraction to you has been tempered. It means he's not as attracted to you as he was before. The pulling away is not because you've done anything particularly wrong, but sometimes attraction has a way of changing. Sometimes what he thought was fun and exciting when he starts to speak to you, you might be maybe too intelligent or too smart or too sarcastic or too worried about this or worried about that, right? He might not like your energy once he gets to know you. So maybe after a date, maybe two, he'll make up his mind and he will not turn around and say to you, hey Jane, here's the thing. I don't find you as attractive as I did the first time. He will simply begin to pull away, or his energy will pull away, and he will start to create space in the hope that you will get the message. A man will never say to you, I just want a physical relationship with you. All I want to do is lay down with you and keep on moving. He's not going to say that because 90% of us will be like, what? Yes, there are women out there who'll be like, yeah, let's do this, let's play. But these are very, very rare women, and they're very few. For the most part, if a man was to say, hey, I'm only walking up to you right now, and I am only entertaining you and only calling you and only paying for dates because I really just want to get into your body, most of us would be like, thank you for your honesty, goodbye. So no, he is not going to tell you that. But how are you going to be able to tell that he just wants a physical relationship? By his ambiguity. He's going to be ambiguous about the future. He's going to be ambiguous about where the relationship is going, if it's a relationship at all. He's not going to like labels. Everything around that whole interaction is going to be ambiguous. Nothing is going to be a straightforward answer. Ambiguity is the cave that men who just want a physical relationship with you will use. Next one is, he will never tell you that you are not his dream girl. He will never tell you. He will continue to date you, and he will instead string you along. But he will never tell you, you're not the woman I intend to marry. Men know quite early if you are one to marry or one for, in the meantime, a placeholder, a bit of fun. They know that quite early. But he is never going to say, hey girl, I'm hanging out with you because I'm having a good time, but ultimately you're never going to be my future. He's never going to say that. What he is going to do is, a man will never tell you, I will never commit to you. What he will tell you is, I don't believe in relationships. I don't believe in commitment. I don't believe in marriage. I think it's just a piece of paper. It's not about any of those things. He's simply managing your expectations. He does not want to commit to you. Many of us have been in situations where a man has said he doesn't believe in marriage, doesn't believe in titles, doesn't believe in labels, breaks up with us, and then goes and marries the other woman. It was never about commitment, titles, labels. It's about you. It is not you he wants to commit to. Not because you're broken, not because you're not worth it, but because it is simply, you are simply not the prototype of the woman that he wants to commit to. So watch his actions and listen to his words. When he says he's not into marriage, he is simply letting you know that one day I'm going to break your heart. So don't be silly. A man who is married or in a relationship is never going to say to the woman he's cheating with, hey, I have no intention of ever leaving my wife or girlfriend. Never. He will not say that to you because he knows that ultimately you're going to want commitment. And so he will string you along. He will tell you it's not a good time right now. There's so much going on. This has happened. Every time you bring it up, he will have an excuse why it is not a good time, or why he loves you, but just cannot do that because. He may even take the best care of you. He may pay your rent. He may pay your bills. He might buy you a house, might buy you a car. But he's not telling you that that is all you are ever going to get from me. You will always be the other woman. So if you think your man is ever going to open his mouth and say, actually, I'm going to leave her for you right now, that is not going to happen. The men who are going to leave their wives and girlfriends for the other woman have done it. If he hasn't done it, he has no intention of doing it. The guys you want don't want you. And the ones you don't want simply won't leave you alone. They say you are picky and have impossible standards. Your partner has lost attraction for you and you have no idea if he will stay or progress the relationship. The harder you try, the further he pulls away. You are starting to think you are cursed, that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. The truth is, you are not uniquely broken. You are simply ill-informed, uneducated, and ill-equipped. All the things that can be fixed. I am offering you an all-access pass into the Black Swan Nation, where you will receive access to all of the courses, mentoring and coaching calls. We are also offering a 100% no quibble money back guarantee if the academy isn't a fit for you. What are you waiting for? Get smart, be educated, and level up. Do it absolutely right now by clicking the link below. The next one is, a man is never going to say, hey, I'm intimidated by your success, your mind, your prowess. He's never going to say that. He is going to instead begin to compete, begin to peacock, begin to act as though he's got this amazing situation going on. Or he is going to begin to criticize you. He's going to begin to blame your success and your prowess on the relationship breaking down. This is something that a lot of successful women experience. Oh, You think you can talk to me like that just because you got money. You know, when women get successful, they start feeling like they can just talk to a man any kind of way. Men are not generally intimidated by a woman's success, especially if she's feminine. But there are men who are intimidated, point blank, right down the middle, in the center of their forehead. There are men who have a hard time being with a woman who is more successful, who has more to offer than he does. This is natural. It's not a criticism, but he is never going to be able to say that. It's never going to come out of his mouth. And if it did, I don't think you'd find him attractive. So if you start to see the red flags, if you start to see the competition, if you start to see the pulling you down and accusing you of things and gaslighting you and using your success as a weapon in a relationship, it's best to keep it moving. The next thing a man is never going to say is, I am seeing someone else and I don't want to choose. No, a man is never going to say, hey, I am seeing Sally and I don't want to choose between the two of you. I actually want to keep both of you. Even when you catch him cheating, he's going to say, well, you know, I'm going to end it with Sally. He has no intention of ending it with anybody. He wants both of you. He's greedy and he wants both of you, and that's what it is. So he is never going to say, hey, I am seeing somebody else and I can't choose. It's never going to happen. He will never say it. Instead, he will start to create arguments and fights in your relationship and create a bit of drama so that, well, you have no choice but to not see him that night. The day that he wants to spend time with Jane, he's going to start a fight with you on that day. Because obviously in a relationship, built routines, the days and times that you see him. But if he is adding a third party to the relationship, then one of those days is going to have to go. What's important at this point is to begin to watch the patterns. Is it the days you're supposed to spend together that the fights break out? Is it a particular day that you were supposed to spend time together that all of a sudden he's moody? You need to check that, because anything that ultimately means that he doesn't want to see you, or he has to leave earlier than normal, or his mood is a little bit difficult to handle all of a sudden, often means he's seeing somebody else. The next thing that a man, and the last thing I have here, that a man is never going to tell you is, I am a coward. I remember dating this guy a while ago, and he's the first guy who ever said that to me. We were dating and we were very much in love and just besotted with one another. But a time came where a very hard decision had to be made, and it really was, for both of us, really, it was a big decision. We were living in different countries and we had to make a decision to pretty much abandon both our countries and see if we could, who would move to who and how things would flourish. And it just became a really big deal. And so he literally disappeared. He just disappeared. He simply just went off and never heard from him for a few months. And I was devastated. Absolutely devastated. There was no conversation about it. I had already started making certain moves. I'd already started disconnecting from certain things. And all of a sudden, I am standing by the cliff, supposed to be jumping with somebody, and they were no longer there. And eventually, he did make contact, and we did have an honest conversation. And he said to me, Chengi, I was just a coward. I was just a coward. That's all there is to it. And I really had the most respect for him for being honest. But you are never really ever going to hear a man admit to being a coward unless he is deeply and emotionally connected and in love with you. A man will just simply misbehave, act like he's crazy, act like he's lost his mind, start to make your life a living hell so that you are the one that ultimately ends it. He didn't want to be there anymore. He changed his mind. He just didn't have the courage to tell you he doesn't want to be here anymore. He didn't have the courage to say, you know what, I've changed my mind. And so he plays up so that you are the bad guy and you are the one who eventually says, you know what, I can't take this anymore. It's over. It's really very important that we are able to understand some of these nuances and not wait. Some of us wait for so long, waiting for that man to say it. We're waiting to hear it. And that can be torturous, because I know that we are wired for communication. We need to hear things for them to settle and to become real to us. It's torturous to not know, and we could be asking for those answers. We could be searching for those answers. Just tell me so I can move on. Just tell me so that I can make a decision for myself that's right for me. But you have to understand that these men, not all men, but the men that resort to this sort of behavior are not really in love with you. They don't care about you, because when a man cares about you, he cares about how he shows up. He cares about how he makes you feel. He cares about being the greatest guy for you. And so it's really important that you will learn to put yourself, to look to do what's best for you. And when the words you're looking for don't come out of his mouth, let his actions show you, and you won't be far wrong. I look forward to seeing you on my next video. In the meantime, take care of you. Bye.